My name is Kira, and I work at the Hive here in Salt Lake. This year is my 9th year in the industry. Actually, I came into it really randomly. I didn't want to be a tattoo artist at first. I was striving to become a scientist. I really wanted to work for NASA. And my mom wanted to get a tattoo one day, and she took me as moral support. And I'm curious by nature, so I asked a bunch of questions watching The Artist Tattoo, and I had done artwork here and there and been doing art classes and all that, but it was just kind of like a hobby of mine. And he wanted to see some of my artwork. I showed him some of my artwork. 3 days later, I started an apprenticeship and fell in love, and it completely changed the total direction of my life. Surprisingly, the tattoo industry here is really big. Bigger than I would imagine that it would be, but there's a lot of creative people in this area, all different sorts of art, and not just tattooing, but there's a lot of music and painting and dancing and all sorts of stuff. But the tattoo industry itself is really big. There's artists from all sorts of styles, all sorts of backgrounds, and it's really exciting to be a part of it, because I go other places in the country and they are surprised that Salt Lake has such a diverse and huge and accepting tattoo world. So originally I'm from Oregon, and we moved when I was young to Wyoming and lived in Wyoming for 12 years, and then I moved here. Oh, it's great. Oh my god. Social media has made the appearance of tattoo artists more abundant, and it's allowed for people to find the artist that they're looking for specifically way easier. And especially with Instagram, I think Instagram is a great platform for artists and clients to meet each other and talk one-on-one and have questions answered and look for different art styles. It's also great for artists to interact with other artists that are in other places. So it's a really great platform for our industry specifically. So it was hard. It was really hard. It was mostly word of mouth, or if the shop even advertised, or you'd go out and pass out business cards, or you'd meet a friend of a friend and they'd spread the word, whatever. But it was a lot harder to get people in and to show your work. So when I moved here, I started using social media and putting out my artwork and giving myself this personality so that people could know who I was before we met, and then that just skyrocketed everything. So how did I start tattooing? What made me choose the art style that I do? What kind of clients I like working with? What's the craziest tattoo I've ever done? Have I ever said no to a tattoo? Do I picture myself doing this for the rest of my life? Things like that. So those are most common, yeah. I'm a really big fan of black work and illustration and sacred geometry, so that is a really vague kind of thing to where I can do black work in a lot of different ways, but I'm mainly a monochromatic artist, so sacred geometry is really a big play in a lot of my work, and dot work is a big play in a lot of my work, but mainly it's just black work, illustration, and sacred geometry. So I'm a very emotional person, so whether it's with the tattoo project at hand or the person or both, I tend to open up emotionally with quite a few of my clients, and it's interesting to be able to handle with the emotional side of everything. Sometimes it's really fun and really playful, and I'm really excited to work with those clients for that reason, or sometimes they'll bring me really sad projects that I've got to hold myself together, and we've got to hold ourselves together, and ultimately it comes out to be a really beautiful thing, but it's sometimes really hard to be on my side and have to handle getting really emotionally connected to certain projects, to be able to produce the project, to bring out the emotion that they're looking for. You know, it's sometimes really challenging. One of the biggest things for me is I do require a lot of artist freedom, and there's a lot of reasons for that. It helps me challenge myself, but it also helps me produce an art piece that is going to be better suited for the project, the idea or the emotion or whatever we're bringing about at hand. And I like to know the stories behind the project, so the why behind the tattoo is really important to me, because it helps pull on creative strings that I wouldn't have known about otherwise, or that you might not have thought about, you know. And I need to be able to have that freedom and that conversation beforehand, before booking a tattoo. So yeah, I'm an intuitive artist, so a lot of what I do is really by feeling and sensing rather than really structured. I like to have the freedom to flow. Here at Teter Tattoos.